What's going on, guys? Running it back with another replay, and we have a thoroughly serious situation going on here. With the ThunderBarge making its way out onto the field, one of the coolest units in all of the Warhammer Fantasy setting. Rolling in here with Malachi McKyson running along underfoot. Going to be trying to drop McKyson's Persuader to give the ThunderBarge some extra ammo, as well as heal it up if need be. Deranged munitions also going to be on the table for any of the, I think it's on any unit, not just on the War Machines. Yeah, you don't see it very often. You don't see Malachi too terribly often, but, you know, we've got the ThunderBarge, we've got Malachi, we've got Gyrocopter Brimstone guns coming in, and we've got a Green Tide advancing up the field here. Savage Orcs into the sunset, tons of Goblins, 3 Goblin Archers. Goblin Archers are alright. They're pretty cheap bow units. They can definitely get some good damage done, but are they going to be able to persevere against the ThunderBarge is the question. ThunderBarge can be pretty difficult for some factions to take down, although I think Greenskins might be in a better position than most to be able to handle it, just because, you know, Greenskin shooting isn't terrible. Orc Arrow Boys can do some pretty good work against it. And there are a handful of flying units that the Greenskins can fall back on. And Wurzag with Effigy of Degit can definitely lock this thing in place while you get some good firepower on it. We'll see how Brother Bear handles this matchup here. Now the Dowie advance up to the middle objective, some miners moving in. Dwarf Warriors chilling on the point as well, and the ThunderBarge opens up and immediately is knocking 22 models out of this mortal coil. Doing some pretty good damage so far, and once it starts hovering over all of these goblins, it's going to start dropping the bombs, which immediately start missing, which is a little unfortunate, but could be worse. I believe it's only the bombs that have the ammunition count on it. I'm not sure how the ThunderBarge works even at this point anymore. It got banned for so long, but for this new player tournament and in the most recent patches, it is an option for Dowie players. And the question is whether the Dowie are going to be able to win this with the ThunderBarge on the field. ThunderBarge is a great unit, but the issue with it is that it's, you know, 3,500 gold. It's expensive as hell. And it gives you up a lot of battlefield control and mobility. You can see Greenskin units just swarming the field right now. Doing a very good job of pushing through into the secondary for the most part. But we do have a very unfortunate blobbing situation going on here. This is way too many units to leave trapped up on just a couple of units. Most of the models here aren't even in melee contact, and they're just getting absolutely roasted by the Brimstone guns right now. Goblin Archers also a little overblobbed. Now, the issue here is that a lot of the models are too close in contact, so they're obstructing one another. The thing that you need to make sure to do with your missile units, just for the future reference for Brother Bear, this is from the new player tournament, by the way, so a little advice gonna be in the works here. You want to keep your missile units spaced out in a concave formation. That's how you get the most effective value, and it prevents stuff like this from happening. We just get a fat gyro bombing run, and they just immediately mass rout all of the goblins here. ThunderBarge with 159 kills already, just flying overhead, saving these Dwarf Warriors and the Miners with blasting charges from the Dowie Infantry. And look how many units are shattering here. Goblin Archers shattering. We've got the Savage Orcs all running for their lives. These Goblin Archers are running away from the ThunderBarge into the meat of the Dowie army, even. Very unfortunate situation for them. ThunderBarge looking to come and save the miners over on this side of the battlefield. Maybe needing to help out Malachi a little bit. Malachi is actually being chased down by the Goblin Big Boss. Love the Night Goblin Big Bosses. The very fun unit. They support Squigs really nicely. They've got a Squig summon. Potion of Healing is available, and he is on the Squig here. You don't see that too terribly often. Usually they just come in on foot, but it does make them a pretty decent little duelist character with the armor piercing. Wurzag taking a lot of damage from the ThunderBarge shooting. and just getting absolutely wrecked right now. Oh my goodness. So yeah, ThunderBarge, great. ThunderBarge also blowing up the Dowie underneath them. Little unfortunate friendly fire there. Somebody gave the order. They'll be on trial at Karak after this one, surely. But they do save most of the Dowie miner unit here. The Savage Orcs taking the worst of this fire. Gyrocopter Brimstone guns also getting tremendous amounts of value right now. About 700 on each of them, just roasting the Savage Orcs here. Squig Herd doing their best. This is actually a Squig Summon, so don't really need to deal with them nearly as much, as they just need to be avoided as much as possible by the Dowie reinforcements. But you can see the Dowie reinforcements are having trouble getting up the field. With the ThunderBarge being the centerpiece of this army, and there being so many gyrocopters brought in as well, very thin on the ground for the dwarves. And the Dowie infantry are not really able to hold on to any of the objectives other than the number 2, which is still flipping to the greenskins right now. Big ticket deficit developing so far. Miners overextending and not on top of the micro enough to get the blasting charges off. Very important that you get value out of the blasting charges, because the miners in melee combat are terrible combatants. I mean, they will get you next to no value unless they're getting some kind of buff spell and trading up into some heavily armored, like Chaos Warrior or something. Best to get those charges on target, or you're going to be wasting your time pretty intensely. We've got a little bit of greenskin magic going down here. Foot of Gork, actually, crushing some of these miners and the Longbeards. Not super necessary. I think it would have been a better idea to try and save that as long as possible for use later on. Night Goblin Big Boss causing some serious problems back here. Moonhowlers moving up the field and attacking the Trollhammer torpedoes that are trying to advance forward. Provide some ground-based fire support for their fellow Dowie here. ThunderBarge just flying overhead. 2,900 value. Absolutely obliterating the Greenskin army, dropping some more bombs on their own units' heads, but also wrecking the goblins and forcing them off of that position. 450 kills and climbing. A lot of what does the damage is actually these shotgun Dowie on the side with these like revolving, I don't know exactly what they are, but it's like a double-barreled rifle. Pretty long range and actually does quite a bit of damage, so that's always really fun to see being used by the ThunderBarge here. Used up a little bit of its ammo. I have no idea how the ammo works. I'm pretty sure it's the bombs as it's flying overhead, but it's barely used any of that up. It's got the gunmen on the side who do the balance of the damage anyways. They're pretty much full ammo, and the cannons on the front. 498 kills, and now we've got a Squig army rolling down into the battlefield, looking to get after the Dowie units that are left out here. You can see that the Dowie really don't have much left on the field to hold the objectives. They've gotten a double cap here, but most of their forces are concentrated on the number 3. They've got one Longbeard hanging out on the number 2 objective here. These guys do have expert charge defense. Could keep them braced so that they don't take the damage from the Squig Herd as they're rolling in here, but they do a pretty good job of holding up here. They're definitely going to be able to grind through both of these Squig units. Squigs are good against infantry, but their melee attack's a little too low against the 48 melee defense of the Longbeards. They should hold up reasonably well. Against Mangler Squigs, though, it's going to be a much taller order for these guys. Mangler Squigs are excellent at chewing through elite infantry. Not only because they have pretty good AP attacks themselves, but also just the amount of explosion damage that they do. It did get nerfed a little while back, but it's still pretty devastating. As they explode, they'll rip that Longbeard unit to pieces. Grim Delver's moving up, getting some pretty good value, firing against the Squig Herd. ThunderBarge rolling through, gets another 50 kills, obliterates the Squig Herds that are rolling around here, as well as the... where are they? There was a unit of Biggins here that looked to have been dealt with. Oh, no, the Savage Orc Boar Boys all the way back here. causing some problems for the Dowie reinforcements. Running over a Bugman's Rangers. Really cost-effective kill there. And out over on the number 3 objective back here, Malachi does fall to the squig herd that surround him and just nibble him to bits. Unfortunate for the Dowie, but with the ThunderBarge available on the field, they should be okay. Using the Thunderburner here, getting a ton of damage on the ThunderBarge right now. Definitely taking the worst of it. Definitely don't need to have that active right now. Probably a little bit of a lapse in micro. Gotta keep on top of seeing that, because the ThunderBarge does a ton of damage to itself with the Thunderburner active. It is much quicker, but a big trade-off in terms of HP, and I think you're better off leaving it just in its regular old ponderous mode. You know, 27 speed isn't very quick. It's not going to get a lot of bombing runs off, but the cannons and the shooting are decently long-ranged enough that the bombs are really just so you can anchor an objective with the ThunderBarge and a couple of infantry units and just bomb anything off of the infantry that are coming in range. While the cannon, you can get some good side shots from range with it, as well as the gunners on the side doing some pretty good work as well. Gyrocopter coming back out yet again, 1600 value on the Gyrocopter Brimstone guns, and those have really been a saving grace for the Dowie infantry. Wherever the ThunderBarge hasn't been able to respond to the Greenskin forces, those Gyrocopters have been able to get some good close air support in for their beleaguered ground forces who are just barely hanging on to these objectives right now. Goblin Archers getting roasted off of the points yet again. Mangler Squigs doing their best to clear out the Dowie Warriors. Gyrocopter is going to be looking to get after the other Goblin Archer unit over there, while the ThunderBarge was 619 kills and counting. It's just a absolutely ridiculous unit. There's a reason it was banned for so long. Kind of glad it's unbanned now, though. You can see some of the problems that Dowie have with it. And I think with a little bit cleaner spread on the battlefield from the Greenskins, they probably would have been okay in this matchup here. The thing that you do when the ThunderBarge is out, ignore the objective that it's over. Go split push the other 2 objectives that are on the battlefield. And you force your Dowie opponent to have to move it across the battlefield, either at speed where it's damaging itself, or it's got to just trundle along, slow as can be, getting all the way across the battlefield to try and help out, and then you just rotate away from it. You've got to play a split pushing game against the dwarves when this thing is out on the field, and you can definitely win that way. It is a little bit difficult to do, requires a lot of micro, and that can be very stressful, but definitely the winning strategy against the ThunderBarge, so it doesn't get 645 kills here. Mind you, it's gotten 4,500 value, but it is just barely paying for itself. It does cost 3,500. So when you're talking about it getting up to 4,600 value in the mid game here, that's only making up for a little bit of the battlefield control that you're giving up in return. Slayers have done pretty decently. They're hanging out here with the Longbeards, getting charged down by some Squig Hoppers, doing their best to hang in there, just barely keeping the cap weight favorable for the Dwarves, while up here, more Dowie, more Dwarf Warriors, with some Rangers rallying in, Grim Delvers, and the Blasting Charges hanging out with the ThunderBarge, Slayers on the middle. Very dominant Dowie win there. And really good micro on the Gyrocopters. The infantry were kind of left to their own devices, which is honestly not a terrible idea for the Dwarves. They're not really DPS units to begin with, so like over-microing them isn't super necessary, I think. And getting value out of the Gyrocopters and the ThunderBarge was the most important thing that Swigging could do here. Did an amazing job. Brother Bear gave it a really good go. Unfortunately, this build, you know, not really built to kill the ThunderBarge. Definitely has the mobility tools to go after the objectives and avoid it. And Bear did a pretty good job of that for a good long while, but really left the infantry to get farmed up by the barge's bombing runs, which got some pretty tremendous value in the early game, and then just steady incremental value over the rest of it. Gotta be very cognizant of where you're positioning your units, and that's really the only advice that I can give for going up against the barge. Otherwise, it was really well done. Very scrappy game throughout, and just unable to respond to the terror of the skies today. That's gonna be it for this one, guys. I hope y'all have enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. GG's. Peace.